side. Some of them might not require coins and would be able to use the KMD token. So it would still, and it's a coin by the way, but the KMD coin would still have its full utility and full value, and it would increase the more products that are actually brought out.
Wow.
Interesting.
So what types of... Go ahead, Yuri, go ahead.
I'm going to say, so since you guys have been around, you launched officially in, is it January 2019?
Yeah.
That's correct. So what types of, I guess, applications are you developing right now? Or are you still kind of just silent on those until they come?
No. We've been around for more than half a year, and about 8 months as far as concept is concerned. We moved to Vietnam about 6 months ago and really planted the seed. So a lot of people think we just popped up out of nowhere and it's just like this mad, where did we come from? We've spent a long time going to conferences and meetings and talking about building our Asian footprint for Komodo and also for RedFox. So what we did was we did a couple of proof of concept things. One of them is just about to be released that you'll see very shortly. We also co-developed and took into account a stake in an exchange. And that exchange is a hybrid exchange that is a hybrid DEX and also centralized exchange that will have an STO platform on it. That's as is the RedFox model. We give the company our share of operational rights and all the rest of it, and then that company, well, those team of people go and they're experts at that and they go and run it. So they've got a partnership with the West African nations to be able to launch businesses from the stock exchange onto this STO platform. So this is the first sort of proof of concept that we've got. And then, as I stated, like the English company, so once we've done the raise, that's what we're raising for, is to actually build out major scale, large companies on top of Komodo.
So you've already got some of the companies lined up, ready to go. You've got
3.
Right. Amazing. And where are you guys in terms of the fundraising aspects? You're doing private sales now, and then you're going to go ahead. Go ahead.
IEO, private sale is underway now. The IEO starts on Friday of this week. So it's actually coming upon us pretty quickly. But we've also got interest on the equity side, but at the moment we're just focusing on the coin side.
Now, have you announced yet where the IEO will be?
Yes, the IEO will be on an exchange that is classed as being in the top 10 as far as volume is concerned. I'm not sure how.
Whose volume?
I'm not sure how reputable volume reports are in this day and age. But ultimately speaking, let's be honest. Ultimately speaking, we chose someone that was strong in the region here. They've got a good presence in Korea, Vietnam, and China as well, which is where we're based here in Vietnam. And the one thing I will say so far is, regardless of the volumes and regardless of how well known it is, what we have found so far is that the customer support and the responsiveness has been unparalleled compared to people that we were previously dealing with.
Yeah. And are you able to say which exchange it's going to be listed on for the IEO purposes?
Yeah, it's called Coineal. Yes, COINEAL. Coineal.
Not if you look at the slithering animal from the sea.
Right.
I think it's probably pronounced Coineal, I'm assuming, but
I've always heard it's called Coineal. That's it. Yeah.
So
cool.
I hadn't really known too much about it, to be honest. But we know that they did a IEO here about a week ago, and it sold out in three and a half minutes.
So if people want to get in on the IEO, what we're saying is that they need to hurry up and get registered and get their KYC stuff done so they can participate and get their coins transferred, because they're not going to have a lot of time to jump in on this when it happens, because it'll probably be a rather exciting launch on Friday. So it's on Friday this week. What's the date?
And we've done two actually. We've done Friday the 12th to the 15th, and then we've done the 17th to the 19th. And the reason we did that, because a lot of people are saying, "What are you doing? You've done it at the same price for 2." The reason we did it at the same price for 2 is because the complaints we keep hearing on these other exchanges is bots bought them out in 3 minutes. We couldn't get in. So what we wanted to do is give people an opportunity to recharge and retry and get in and have another option. They get in the first time, and we're not putting the price up, so we're making it fair for both times. So that's just how the way we
Friday through Sunday, the 12th through the 15th.
Yep, and then the second one 17th to 19th.
Our 15th
Okay.
is Monday, so 12th to the 15th is Monday, and then the second one falls on the Wednesday through Thursday. Okay.
And then we trade 4 days after that, so the trading starts 4 days after that, and at the same time we go live on a top 20 exchange that's been around for a very long period of time that has a very high reputation for non-fake volume. That everybody knows. I'll give you a clue. Mm-hmm. It's in Korea.
Well, I can only make one.
Next question.
I can only make an educated guess that you. That's the only letter I'm going to say. Please tell me if you wanted to, but I just gave people a hint. That's my guess anyway. I'm sure I'm probably right.
Okay. So the thing,
Googling what exchange starts with a U in Korea.
Well, doesn't matter, because the thing is that one thing that's got to be taken into consideration is that we've got pretty much the same team as Komodo, and we've got good connections. We've been around for a long time. Everybody knows who we are. So we're very lucky, because I read a report the other day that said 94% of projects fail because they can't get on the top 20 exchange. So for us, we're extremely lucky, and only 15% of the top 6%. So only 15% of the 6% that do get on.
So projects are failing because they're not on top exchanges. What does that have to do?
It doesn't say that. It says 94% of projects fail because they did not get onto a top 20 exchange. They don't have liquidity. They did not have the liquidity. They were not able to trade.
I see.
Interesting.
Well,
and it said that 15, and it came from Hackanoon, and I think it was, and it said 15% of the 6% that make it into the top 20 fail. So you've got a very high chance, and I feel sorry for a lot of projects out there, because I try and help people get onto some of these top exchanges, and it's just not possible. So we're very, very lucky that we've got good connections, and we're very lucky that we're able to get onto some of those top exchanges. So it gives us an unfair advantage, which we're very, very thankful and grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So in addition to this, you're also a YouTube celebrity named Bitcoin Benny. Why did you decide to venture out into the YouTube world?
Yeah, good question. So I've been a C-level for my whole life, which is why I have no hair. And I've been doing company turnarounds for multinationals. And I came across to crypto and had traded for a while and all the rest of it, and then decided to get into it a little bit more full time. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've run some pretty techie and complicated companies before, and I would think this is pretty damn hard for people to get into. And the guy that ran, Justin Tabb, the guy that was the tech guy behind Stratum, I'll never forget one of his videos when they first started. He said, that he's pretty technical, but even as a really technical person, it took him half a day the first time he sat down to work out how to get a wallet, how to transfer coins. Now, if that's for a technical person, I feel sorry for some of the friends that I've got and relatives I've got. So I sat down and said, I'm going to make videos. I'm not going to take any, I'm just going to not take any real direction. I'm just going to be a Dear Diary, and I'm going to talk about the types of things that I find, and people come up to me and say, I can't do this, or how do I do this? So I thought, you know what, if someone asks me a good question, that's my next episode. And I just didn't have any formula. I just went at it, and it was more of a Dear Diary. And it worked because I was being honest, and I was just saying what I think. And so that's how it came about. And I've let it tail off a little bit lately because I'm trying to focus on Komodo and RedFox, and so it's a fair bit, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, it is a lot. So that's a good point, Yuri. So he starts off in the Bitcoin world, suddenly doing like YouTubing, and then suddenly he shows up as the CEO of Komodo. How did that happen?
So that's a good question. So I'd already been into the world before, and then I got into the videos, and then I started talking about Komodo, and people started saying, you're the only one really talking about Komodo, and you're doing lots of videos, and you're talking about it, and they said, why? And I said, I love it. And they said, do you know each other? And I said, I don't know them. And they said, you should go work for them then, because they're very good at the tech side, but no one knows who they are. So I said, I'd be interested. And then one of their guys reached out to me and said, do you want to take a trip to Europe, somewhere in Europe, and you want to come and meet some of the people on the team? And I said, okay. So next minute I was on a plane, and it was all pretty exciting because my partner, she said to me, I just looked at the website and it's got like a whole heap of cartoon characters. Where are you going? And I said, some mysterious place. To meet cartoon characters. And I said, yeah. She said, you're like James Bond. And I said, it's pretty cool, actually.
That's crypto.
So when I went across
it's all a bit
there,
anonymous at times.
I loved it. I loved it. And I think that on the plane on the way over there, I'd already decided no matter who I met or what they said, I was in just for the sake of being able to say that I was. But in all honesty, getting there and speaking to the guys, I was absolutely blown away by what a different world they come from, and they see these in binary. They hear, think, and see. It's incredible how dedicated these coders are, and it's their lives. And my job was to try and say, well, I'll bring my part of life to this, and let's see if we can join those together. And in the end, as we've now talking about tonight, we've established that you don't need to actually join those two together. You could run them separately,
for sure,
but have them intrinsically linked. And that's a far, I believe personally, that's a far better method. And I know that you understand the Komodo project, and Yuri, you understand it, which is why you guys are putting this all together. But it's a very difficult concept for me to explain to a person who doesn't really understand what, Red Hat and Linux is, or what Komodo actually does, other than the fact that it's...
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to put a link in the description below about some of the history of Red Hat, because I think if people just look up Red Hat and its foundation, how it got started, why they started doing what they're doing, I think people will realize very quickly that this is a no-brainer. That
absolutely.
I mean, we all talk about this all the time as YouTubers. So taking our red hat and our RedFox hat off of our heads for a moment, and just talking as three YouTubers, dare I say social influencers, a term that Yuri hates, but but
I prefer educator
in a way. I mean, what's really fascinating for me is the fact that, we're all talking about how do we get this to market? How do we get blockchain into people's hands? How do we dumb it down so that it's not so technical that we all sit here going, the what? Because there's no benefit from that. And for the same reason that Yuri and I wrote a book, which we're just in the stages of finalizing and getting out to the public, editing it now and what have you. The whole point was to help people get started, so that they can read it and go, oh, yeah, I get it. And it's not like, oh, so mega complicated, because it shouldn't be. The problem is a lot of these applications that have been built in blockchain, the UIs are awful. The user experience is terrible. The functionality is so technical, and you're looking at it going, who is this for? And the reality is they all do great things. There's some great products out there. They just need a little bit of love and care, some marketing and some business experience. And that's what the three of us represent, other than just being YouTubers, is understanding this having come from real world business into this space. So I'll
go back to your previous point. Your previous point was, how do we get people to understand this? And the simple answer to that is, we don't need to get them to understand it.
Correct.
I'll give you a weird example. When I was younger, I used to go in for a vaccine. This is showing my age. We went in for a vaccine, and it was for polio, and it used to be this spoon full of this horrible, salty tasting. Now, anyone who's over a certain age is nodding their head going, I remember that. You think, what's it for? It tastes terrible. Can't they make this, put it in a better package or make this easier? And over the years, with things like that, they find much better ways, sweeter tastes, and ways for people to actually not even realize they're doing it. But back in those days, it was an ordeal. You knew you were going to get this vaccine. You knew you had to swallow this horrible tasting stuff. You knew it was a horrible ordeal. And at the moment, for a lot of people coming into crypto, it's a difficult ordeal to sort of, which wallet do I get? I get people all the time going, I don't know whether I should use a Trezor, or should I use this wallet that I've seen on an ad at the top of CoinMarketCap that tells me it's better than Trezor. And I think to myself, oh gosh, these questions shouldn't even exist. I mean, there should be a more established market with better information.
Well, you need them to do something like that. Those questions should be showing up in like these compare, like which with the question mark, the magazine that, compares products. And it should be a simple thing of, okay, well, if you want to buy a stereo, do you buy a Denon or do you buy a Yamaha? It's kind of like, well, okay, it's all its power supply and it's this and its volume and, and we're guys, we just want it to be loud and pounding and whatever. But, women will say, no, I wanted to have this and that and blah, blah. And I wanted to have auto off and whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just features. But I think the point you're making there is we want to have it presented in, sorry, I know it's weird, but I mean, we want to have it presented in a way where people can look at a keep key and a ledger and a Trezor and a bit, called the bit something or other. Now people are going to troll me because I can't remember the name of the damn thing. But you want to compare them all and just say, what's the difference? And they all do have some differences in features, and it's a question of what do you need? Is it coins? Is it security? Is it that, fake wallet inside the real wallet so that, like your distress button? There's all sorts of different things they all have. And it's really just a question of telling people which ones work and why.
That's why I just want to go straight past that.
Just to the general masses, but no one's covering this in terms of